The Old Raleigh Whiskey Society is the brand of our bourbon, but also it is something of which you can join. It sounds like a club because it kind of is one. And the reason we created that is that when I was first getting into bourbon and learning more and more about it and going and visiting distilleries, that there's a lot that we do in the industry that you don't get a chance to do if you are just a hobbyist or things such as that. And so I wanted to create a brand of which you could join and come here and really roll up your sleeves and learn about how whiskey is blended, how it's created, and be as involved and engaged as you'd like to be. Whether it's helping us dump the barrels, to teaching classes on whiskey 101, bourbon 101, pairing, sensory analysis, things like that. I wanted to be able to offer you that if you had that appetite. So that's essentially what the premise is of the Old Raleigh Whiskey Society is. You don't own a distillery, but you're a part of this brand. You're helping bring our whiskey to market, and you're getting access to things that perhaps you may not have gotten access to on a regular basis. So our membership base from the beginning has really been just a grassroots type movement. We haven't pushed trying to get more members, especially on social media, because I'm not looking to have 100,000 members. We wanted to spread by word of mouth, and I'm happy with the progress that's happened there. But where I see us going in the future, as we continue to roll out these limited releases and experimenting with different flavor profiles, those members are getting to play a role in that. And also as we build out our education program, they got full access to that. It's pretty much an open door policy for those members to come in as much as they'd like, learn as much as they want about whiskey and the curriculum, and bring their friends and family if they'd like to show up as well.
My name is James Gaskell.
My name is Michael Cornett.
My name is Walt Tolman.
I'm Donna, and I'm part of the
Old Raleigh Whiskey Society.
Coming here was the first time I started tasting the bourbon like you taste wine. Like you're starting to get the profiles of the grains and how it affects the flavor and how the barrel aging affects the flavor. And talking to Brandon, been an education. It's also nice being able to go to Brandon and say, hey, how's this grain bill affect this flavor?
Got into whiskey about 4 or 5 years ago and got in it to really collect it, and then because of a couple of circumstances understood the benefits of opening and enjoying it, making memories with family and friends. And I've really learned about the blending process and how Brandon batches bourbons and how he wants the different batches to be catered to the different palate.
Before this, I was more of a Captain Morgan's and soda drinker. As the time went along with COVID, I found Brandon on one of the local groups and social media, and he was doing these tasting events where he was explaining a lot about different whiskeys and bourbons. So I dove all in, and that was a good avenue for me to start to learn about whiskeys, and I appreciated that with Brandon doing that. A lot of people were more experienced than I, including him, and I was learning from all of them. So I did that for a while and just have been trying a lot of things since then, including involved in his society here and trying all the different batches and learning all I can from him.
I'm basically a beer drinker and just slowly started tasting the bourbon, and I've learned to start liking it, especially with Brandon telling us about it.
I've built friendships here at the distillery. Really enjoy hanging out with those guys.
It's cool to come down here because they know who I am.
Openness, the conversation between us and Brandon makes it, whatever he does, we're going to support him.
When we talk about bourbon and whiskey, and when you visit a lot of distilleries, what you're getting is this surface level marketing spiel. These big brands show you exactly what they want you to see, and they give you this nice story narrative that may have some history woven into it. But I wanted more. I didn't want the story. I wanted to get my hands dirty and really see how the spirits were created. And so when we started our brand, that's what I wanted to give you here, is the owner, is the operator, is the whiskey blender, and we're rattling off these very small batch, very limited release stuff. And if you want your hand in helping out with that and playing a role with it and understanding decisions that are made to how we bring that spirit to market, that I'm here, open access. One motivating factor about why I created the Old Raleigh Whiskey Society is because I was on the other side of the table at some point, right, where I was just stumbling into bourbon, fascinated about it. But along the way, I would pick up sound bites from a podcast or a video, or maybe I would take someone's opinion on something as gospel. A lot of those thoughts that I have or things that I were given were completely inaccurate or just based off opinions. I thought, there's a methodical approach that you could take to learning about bourbon and whiskey. I would like to create that, which is what we have here. So that's a big reason why we have this society, if you will. The student becomes the teacher, and that's what we do here.